Hey everyone, it's Cardboard Collector coming to you with another video review. And this time we're going to be doing it on the new Marvel Legends Maximum Series Spider-Man. I'm excited to get this figure in hand and review it. Um, Without further ado, we'll just go ahead and jump into it. We got a lot of comparisons, got a lot of items to show. We got a lot to do here, so we're just going to go ahead and jump in. But first, I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to apologize. I am dealing with a lot of allergies at the moment. Pollen is really bad, especially where I am right now for some reason. So if you hear me kind of sounding different or having a sniffle or something, I want to go ahead and apologize just because my allergies are kicking my butt right now. But anyways, let's jump into this figure. So as you can see, he is a very nice looking figure. I love the dark colors of blue with the red. He is a 90s era Todd McFarlane Spider-Man. Which is the Spider-Man I grew up with. I know I said that in my Mafex review with my Mafex Spider-Man, the 185. I grew up in that 90s era, so this is my Spider-Man. But this one, to me, is I like this a lot better just because I love the darker colors. I love the color scheme better. Let me just say it that way. I love the color scheme better. I think the color scheme is a lot better. And he looks good. The web lines, I don't have any paint problems on mine. I haven't seen anything that stands out to me. I mean, everything looks really good, and I know that's a controversy with the figure because of how expensive it is. You want everything to be perfect, and so far I cannot find anything on mine that sticks out. So even when you do the butterfly joints here, you kind of they still have the spider arms coming out there, which is nice touch. I like that. Excuse me. So, he's a good looking figure. Let's move into the articulation. Excuse me, guys. I can't talk tonight either. I can't talk right now either, apparently. So we'll start with the head. The head and the neck are on two separate joints. So he can look up really far, super far. He can look down that far. He's got good pose there. He can side to side. He can 360 the head. He can do it all. As far as the arms, they have some good range here. You can get them in that nice, not quite, a little bit over T, kind of almost Y pose here. You have a nice butterfly joint here. Oh, there we go. So here's the butterfly joint, and you can get the arms crossed there, kind of like with the Mafex figures. And this is something I appreciate. This is the kind of articulation I appreciate because I love a good arm cross. That shows to me a lot of good range. Then right here at the shoulder, you can 360. You have your bicep articulation right here. You have double jointed elbows. You have a new articulation right here. This a little bit below the like I would call the forearm articulation, and that part can 360 right here. You can turn it, and that's for some of the items that we're going to show here in a little bit. There's a reason that they have that there. Wrist here you have a up and down wrist pivot or not pivot. Well, I don't know what you call it. Up and down wrist motion, and then you can 360 the wrist. Upper torso here. It's on like a ball joint, so you can turn it, 360 it side to side, and then you actually have like a dedicated ab crunch here at the waist. There's no waist articulation. There's just more of this dedicated like ab crunch here. So you can with that you can go down about that far, and then with that crunch and the back up here you can look back. You can go back about that far. The legs are on a drop down, so you can drop down here and you can get his legs like super far up. I mean, and I know that D Amazing showed this, and the one thing that I really like about this one is that when you bring the legs up, they stay they stay straighter together versus going into like a Y shape with some of the other some of the Mafex Spider-Man and stuff like that. And that's I like that. I like that a lot. I agree with him there. 100% with that. Up here you have the upper thigh. You have a double jointed knee. You have a boot cut. And then you have ankle pivot. Really good ankle pivot. And then foot can go down that far. Foot can go up that far. And toe joint. So he is very articulated. Now, is he more articulated than some of the other Marvel Legends figures? Yes, a little bit. But you know, not by a lot. But does it still justify the price point? We'll see. I mean, you still have. We're gonna go through accessories. I want you to kind of, you know, make that assumption for yourself and everything. I will say, compared to some of the other Marvel Legends, he does have more articulation. It is better for sure as far as that goes. But let's move into the accessories. All right, let's start with the heads. First, we have another masthead where the eyes are just have a little bit more of the black around them. Kind of more of a mean looking face, I guess. A glaring face, I guess. And then we have the Peter Parker head. Now, this to me is the weakest thing about the whole Spider-Man. I don't care for this head. I remember reading the comics when I was little, and I don't quite remember him looking like this. Maybe I'm wrong. It's been a long time. But it's just so goofy looking. I don't know. I'm just, it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. And I'm sure somebody will come up with a better one at some point. So then we have these. So these are the reasons. So when you remove them here, you can peg them into with these holes right here. And you have these ungloved hands showing the web shooters. Now they don't move. You can't move anything. They don't turn anywhere. They're just solid in place that they are. The only place you can turn them is right here at that forearm peg. But you have one that's, you know, web whipping here, web whipping hand, and then you have like kind of an open hand that's going into the web thwip. It looks like a mid web thwip hand. And you can see the detail in there. They have, you know, the little triggers for the web, and then, I mean, and they're really nice. I mean, I like that. I think that was pretty cool. That's one of my. It is something I like to this figure. I think it was a nice addition. Sticking with kind of the hands, let's go into these next ones here. These next ones right here are web whipping hands, but I have them on the wrong side. But they have the webs built into them, which to me is a nice touch. I like that. I'm used to the Mafex ones where you kind of have to put them on the wrist, around the wrist, and then put the hand back on, so you have that effect. But this, I really like this. I don't know why. I think this is cool. You have one that's showing like he's doing a big web shot here, and then you have one that looks like he's doing a for a web sling here. He's starting off into like a normal string for the web, and I think these look good. I mean, I would dare say there's some of my favorite hand effects here. Then of course with those you have the normal web whipping hands, and what I like about these is, you know, they gave us two kind of different looking web whipping hands. You have one where the pinky's kind of curled, kind of like that looks like if I was doing the web whip. It's like it's not a perfect, like this one, not a perfect web whip hand, but he's got his pinky a little curved. Like that looks like something that mine would do. If I was doing this in real life, that's what mine would probably look like. But I appreciate that. It gives them a little difference, and it makes them stand out, and I like that. Then you have these open palm hands, or the wall crawling hands. And then I'm gonna move to these. So you have two grip hands here, as you can see. Come on, focus. And I already have them gripped to a web line here. Well, come on, camera, focus. There we go. Well, let's try it. You have them gripped to a web line. And each web line, you know, kind of looks like, come on, there we go, focus. And that's kind of what the web line looks right here. And the only difference is the end of them. So like this one's rounded off, and I'll show you the other one here. They're the same length. And then this one, let's see. This one has a more splayed end here. As you can see, it's a little bit more splayed. And they're very flexible. They're gummy. They don't have a bendy wire in them. They're just gummy, like a rubbery texture feel, which is fine. I mean, I like a little bit more posability in mine, but I mean, there's a lot of third-party webs out there, so you don't have to use them. Here is a stand, and that stand is used for 2 dedicated items here. First thing is the open like web net shot, where it looks like he's about to web net somebody or catch them from the back. And there is a little peg hole right about here that you just plug into the top right there, and it looks like he's shooting it. So there's that one, and then there's the web ball, or the web comet, whatever you want to call it. And it also pegs into that stand. So move that stand out of the way. Next, we have probably one of my favorite accessories here is the web shield. And the reason I'm excited about this is because I'm going to show a little bit of my age. Back in the 90s, or around the 90s Spider-Man era with Todd McFarlane, they did a run called Maximum Carnage. And based on that run, they created a game for the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis that was the Maximum Carnage game that you could play as Spider-Man and stuff. And on the game, when Spider-Man would block, when you'd press back on the controller to let him block, he would put up a web shield to block. So, and I'm going to insert this picture here, and this is what it looked like in the game when he would use the web block shield and everything. And that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of that video game from my childhood. And I'm like, the Maximum Carnage game. And I think that's amazing. I love it. I think it's the coolest thing ever. So I'm glad that they included that in there. It really takes me back to my childhood. And then last but not least, the last piece here we have is the Spider Sense Effect web piece. And you just put that right there on top of his head. So it looks like his spider sense is tingling. Yeah, so that's a cool addition. I like that. Now it'll fit on both the mask heads, but not the Peter Parker head. I'm sure somebody will figure out a way to mod one and make one for the Peter Parker head, but as of right now, it does not fit the Peter Parker head. All right, so that is the accessories. Let's go to what you've all been waiting for. Let's move to comparisons. All right. So the first comparison that I know that everybody is wanting to see, and where the controversy has started, is the Mafex Spider-Man. So, as you can see, come on. So, when it comes to these two, I mean, they're similar art style. They're both kind of that McFarlane 90s era Spider-Man look. The costumes are different. Now, again, I don't have the 075 Spider-Man that has more of the darker look. This is the 185. But I can see, the similarities as far as like what they were going for. There is a lot of things that the Mafex does that the Maximum line Spider-Man is trying to replicate, and has in a lot of areas. Like I said, the arm cross, that's something that's always been a big Mafex thing for me with this butterfly joint here, and they've done it with the Marvel Legends version. I mean, like I said, there is still their differences, but I think. And this is the biggest thing, and I can't stress this enough. When it comes to figure collecting, and when it comes to everybody's going to have, for lack of a better term, it's like my dad always used to say, opinions are like buttholes, everybody's got one. I'm sorry if that's a little crude, but it's true. Everybody's going to have their opinion. It doesn't, and you're never going to have people that are going to agree. There's always going to be people that's going to hate. People are going to love this one and hate this one now. People are going to still love this one and hate this one, not even giving this one a chance because they love this one. And, and price point was always a big factor. Like Mafex, yes, they cost a little bit more and they're overseas and they're costing more now because of where everything's going now, nowadays. And this one at $50. I mean, I can say I don't regret buying either one of them. No matter the price point, I don't regret buying either one of them. They're solid figures because at the end of the day, it's what makes you happy. It doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. It's not about anybody else's opinion. It's what makes you happy. If you were happy with this Spider-Man, by all means, buy this Spider-Man. If you were just happy with your Mafex, stay with your Mafex. If you want both, buy both. Because at the end of the day, it's what makes you happy. Because you're the only person that you got to contend with at the end of the day. You don't have to contend with anybody else. It's just you. So, I like both of them. I'm going to keep both of them. I think both of them are great figures in their own right. So I'm sorry. There's my little rant about that because sometimes you get tired of just seeing all the negativity around stuff. But like, solid figure. I think they compare well to each other, and I'll use both of them in different lights. I'm sure that I'll still use both of them in pictures and everything like that because there's certain things I like about one and certain things I like about the other for different things. Anyways, so let's just move on. I'm sorry about that little rant there. So next, I'm going to compare him with some other Marvel Legends Spider-Man. Here is the animated series VHS 2-pack Spider-Man here that came with the Vulture. And then here is the other kind of smaller body mold that was with the Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends. As you can see the differences there. I think that some of the other YouTube reviewers, I think it was Dan Who, and I think D Amazing did like some of the head swapping, and maybe an MCU collector, I can't remember. But they did some of the head swapping, so you can kind of see like what the different heads look like on there. I'm not going to do it on camera here. This video is going to be a little longer than my usual ones as it is, just because of so much going on with this figure. But you can kind of see there here. He is shorter than this one, and he is taller than this one. So, or not by much on this one, but he is a little bit taller. Head shape's definitely different. This one's got more muscular body. I like the way they're going with this Maximum Spider-Man. I like it. I like the body style, and I like the way he looks for sure, compared to some of his older counterparts. And again, this could be something where you're like, I still like the older counterparts better. There's some people that still like the Pizza Spider-Man better. Again, it's all up to your opinion. Oopsie. It's all up to you. It is your opinion. It is your figure. It is how it's, you're the one playing with it, displaying it, whatever you're doing. It's your figure. You do it. You pick which one that you want, or all of them if you want it. It does not matter. I'm gonna try to quit doing that. Here he is next to the Spider-Man, supposed to be animated series Venom, in that kind of retro carded Venom. And as you can see, I think they look fantastic together. I think they look great. This really that hits home for me. I should have brought up my Carnage. I did not bring out my Carnage, and I completely regret that now. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Here he is next to a Marvel Legends Amazing Spider-Man from the No Way Home series. Just because I had him out for another review. And the other review that I have him out for, I guess I'll bring him out for comparison, is another Mafex figure. Here he is with the Mafex No Way Home Friendly Neighborhood Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. So you can see how, well, my copy filled. You don't want to stand. So you can kind of see how these line up. He's a lot shorter there. Let's see. Here he is next to, just so we can get some different size figures in here. This is a big boy here. Here he is next to a Mattel DC Universe Build-A-Figure Killer Croc. He's a tall boy. So you can kind of get some of that height. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't really break out enough figures, I feel like, for this comparison as I thought I did. I just was comparing it to mostly the Spider-Man. But I don't want this video to run too long. So I'll have some more, photos with different like Spider-Man villains in my photos and stuff like that. So you'll be able to see this because this video is already running long. We're at about 20-minute mark. So, overall, I like this figure. I think it's a great figure. I think if you like it, you should buy it. And I think if the $50 price point bothers you, then don't buy it. It's just that simple. It really is. People want to make a bigger deal than it really is, than it really should be. If you, like I said, it all comes down to what you like, what you can afford. If you can't afford it, or You know, I mean, there's different options. You know, you just patience. Patience is a big thing. Patience is, you know, they always say patience is a virtue. I'm not. I'm definitely not the one, the poster child for that. But at the same time, you know, if this is something that you want, and you just, you know, you want it, but you don't want to pay the $50. Be patient. Maybe you can find one at a good deal at some point. Who knows? Or I mean, if the $50 don't bother you, and you know, you're like, okay, it's worth $50. Now, was it worth $50 with all the accessories? I think that's the big question that everybody, you know, is after is it worth it with all the accessories and everything? Um, I mean, to me, it feels like a good quality figure. I'm paying, you know, you're paying. I think when I bought my Mafex Spider-Man, it was like $85, I think, or $80 or something like that. It could have been. I think it was around that. So, you know, this is $30 less essentially. And I felt like, yeah, I got a lot of hands and accessory stuff with the Mafex. I mean, it felt like worth $80 to me. So if I say that, and then I go to this one and say, okay, with all the web accessories, all the hands, everything, does this feel worth it? In that comparison, yes, to me, it's $30 less. Yeah, I get, you know, almost the same amount of stuff as the Mafex, but not quite. I think Mafex is a little bit more, or a little bit better things maybe. But at the same time, it's like, yes, I can justify. I can justify spending $50 on this. That did not bother me. But I mean, like I said, everybody's got a difference of opinion on that. And I think we're just gonna leave it there. You know, if you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. I hope you found my video informative. If you liked it, please give me a like, comment, subscribe to my channel. If follow me on social media, I got the information listed in the description below. If you would like to see more content like this, follow me. You know, ring that bell so you can see my content when it comes out. I think this round is going to be a triple time, because it's going to be a triple Spider-Man, because after reviewing this one, I got 2 more Spider-Man that just released also from Mafex that I'll be doing reviews on also. So, anyways, guys, I hope you're having a great morning, great night, great day, just wherever you're at right now. I hope that you're safe, hope that you're happy, and I hope that your collecting will always be fruitful. Later, guys.